Hey guys, this is Christ169 here coming to you outside of Clark's Athletic Club. I'm going to do my gym on here in about 20 minutes when it opens up. I'll do my upload video here for today. Really guys, what's really going on today, really with the news is that the graphics card issues, some people are still thinking the graphics cards are still going to be having issues and have issues finding them. Eventually, um, with the 6800 XT being sent out to pasture, um, not being created anymore. AMD has come out and said that they're not longer creating production on 6800 XT. And probably 6900 and 6700, probably eventually the 6000 series will go away. 3000 series has been pretty much stopped for a while. NVIDIA has done that. And people might ask why. Why are these companies doing it now? Well, you can understand the RX or the AMD 58 and the NVIDIA 980 and cards like that, 930s and 1030s being discontinued. Technically, 1030 being discontinued, but eventually. Not 100% right now. To 1030 is still active, even though it's only I think 4 gigabyte, maybe 6 gigabyte cards. Some of these cards I mentioned only have 2 to 4 gigabytes of VRAM. So a lot of those would not do anything really in 2024. They didn't do squat in 2023. Now even esports titles like your PUBG and your Apex Legends and your what else is out there these kids play today? A Fortnite require a lot more than 6 gigabytes. But 6 gigs is kind of the minimum, and it goes up from there. So anything less than 6 gigs, you ain't gonna do much with it. That being said, though, is it totally terrible that these cards are going away? Not really. I think it's kind of funny that 6800 XT is being discontinued. 3000 series, the 30 series cards for NVIDIA, they try to get rid of them for the last 2 years because they're trying to get everybody to buy a 4000 series, 40 series cards that no one's buying them. Some people are buying them, but not as much as NVIDIA hoped for. You have to understand, NVIDIA hoped for a gigantic, Armageddon of people running out there to go buy their 40 series cards. They were hoping for this. They wanted this. They needed this. They don't have it. Granted, it ain't hurting them in the wallet because they're still, a multi-billion-dollar company. They're still a multi-billion-dollar company that does not have to worry about, paying bills anytime soon. Or, oh my God, this bill is an issue. No, NVIDIA don't have the issue. AMD doesn't either. But what NVIDIA has to worry about is people buying Intel cards and even AMD. The 750 16 gigabyte card, yes, hard to believe that Intel finally made a graphics card in the last, 30, 40 years they've been around. Because, even in the 80s and 90s, the AMD was considered the cheap brand processor, and Intel was the real enthusiast. You went out there and you Intel, you Intel for life kind of thing, right? Well, now it's being looked at that now AMD is the gamers one, and Intel is more of the, I don't know who we are. I don't know who we are anymore. They don't have an idea who they are because they try to conquer every market, and they slipped on gaming. Where AMD, like my 5800 X3D, is a great game powerhouse. It beats the 12900 KS in a lot of games because of performance, because it has the game power, what you want. That being said, though, Intel finally creating graphics cards and finally doing that is not a bad thing, though. It's not a bad thing at all. I think it's a good thing, actually, that Intel has finally stepped out of just a processor and went into the GPU market. Because now Intel is in the market, AMD and NVIDIA like, oh crap, we have somebody who's actually know what they're doing now. Because Intel has been around for a long time when it comes to CPUs. GPUs have only been in for something like a year. But they've seen it done. I think they probably have seen how it's done for the last 20 years at least. They'll say, oh, we can do that eventually. And the ARCs, the ARCs came out, and the ARCs were not too bad. They just didn't have the same, power that you would think they would have, being as they are. And what the ARCs really are, the ARC cards are not bad at all. And that being said, though, that gives NVIDIA and AMD not a lot of time to really go, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. They got to bring out card much as they can. This is why they dropped the 4000 series NVIDIA. That's why 7700 dropped, the 7800 dropped, and some other ones dropped from AMD. And people have, got a lot of gamers, including myself, are kind of fatigued. Like, okay, so I got a 3070. 6800 XT is faster than 3070, but you're getting rid of it. 3080 is probably going to be the one that probably fades away the fastest, because it didn't have very few SKUs for it. It didn't have a lot of. It was a great card, but people were buying it, but they didn't. I think they didn't create a lot because of the crypto apocalypse, and with all of the scalpers and stuff, and people are still having issues selling off their stashes of 30 series cards from scalper side. So there's a lot of people out there who are looking to buy a 5,000 or probably start buying a 7,000 series card, because right now AMD has the upper hand in a lot of the markets, but Intel is wedge themselves in there. So like, we're gonna go right over here, and they sit there. It's slowly growing. A lot of people who have Intel everything are now buying Intel graphics cards. And granted, we all know the joke is Intel cards, didn't have very good drivers. They probably still don't for most games, because you have to, you have to have engineers, guys. You have to have an engineer go in there and engineer all these drivers for every game. You can't go, okay, well, push a button like on Xbox and every game works perfectly fine. No, that doesn't work on PC. We all know there's different drivers, different flavors, different strokes for different folks. So, everybody, every game has their different way of doing stuff. So, Red Dead 2 drivers might work differently than Battlefield drivers. Two different companies. EA and then one's Rockstar. So we have to keep that in mind. Now, as we are as gamers, becoming the connoisseurs to buy PC stuff, talk PC, be PC, we need to start being, okay, let's pull the rein back a little bit here. Let's think about this before we start making a fool of ourselves, trying to run out there and go buy a 4070. What I found 4 of them in Best Buy during Christmas holiday, just sitting there for $600. People are like, this is a 12 gigabyte card, and people weren't buying it. I saw a person buy a 6700 XT over 4070. Granted, I think had like 12 gigabytes of VRAM. But it's actually slower than the 3070, the 6700 XT. People will buy weaker cards, or what they call weaker cards, because of the fact that they know that NVIDIA is trying to shove down their throats the 40 series cards that nobody wanted. See, I tell you the truth though, I got my 3070 probably around May of last year. May or June of last year. So I've have had it for less than a year, or maybe close to a year. But I've had it for less than a year. So that being said, guys, if I'm still bitter about it, and I love this 37, it's a great card. But if they added, 10 gigabytes of VRAM or 12, like 3060 was 12, they could have added that to 3070, made the 3080 16, made the 3080 Ti 18, and 24 for the 3090. They didn't do that. They cheaped out and gave almost every card 8 gigabytes. And I think, NVIDIA is becoming so full of their own crap that AMD always has a lot more VRAM than performance power. Because they know they don't have DLSS. They know they don't have this stuff. But what they do have is a lot of VRAM, video memory, for you to play the games in ultra settings at 2K or 4K and have it. So this is why a lot of cards are not selling on the NVIDIA side, and even AMD side too. The 7700, the biggest mistake I think that AMD created was the 7700. 7700, I think 7700 16 gigabytes, 7700's 8 gigabytes. Now, rumor is they might come out with a 10 or 12 gigabyte variant. They may. But the damage has already been done already. You can't reset that, I fear. And if you try to, you're going to look desperate, in front of the enthusiasts who buy your cards. And they're not going to support you and go, no, we don't want that because you're desperate and we ain't going to help a person desperate trying to sell off their cards. So that being said, though, that's why AMD, that's why NVIDIA can't sell any of their 4070 cards and stop production for a while. Now, will it sell eventually? Yes. When people cannot buy a 30 series card anymore, when you cannot find a 30 series card, you will buy a 40 series card. I say again, if you cannot find a 30 series card or a 2080 Ti that's equivalent to a 3070, we don't know how long the lifespan of 20 series is going to be either. So we're not going to go buy a 20 series card. Might be a good idea because if they cut the drivers off, this year or next year. But if they say, hey, we're doing the 40 series cards because we're no longer supporting 30 series like they wanted to say for the last 2 years, well, actually since 2020, 3 years. Well, actually a little before that, a little after that. They didn't want us to have the 30 series cards for very long. Like AM4 sockets, the same thing, AM4 sockets. It kept going because of the pandemic and stuff like that. So having AM4 in 2024 is kind of considered kind of weird because that was been discontinued or canceled out, moved on to AM5 in 2020. But it didn't happen. So guys, what I'm trying to say, guys, in closing is that with the graphics cards shortages going to happen again, probably. With the AI issues, with the 30 series cards being pretty much drying up, and the 40 series cards being looked at by everybody who's doing AI, but also anybody who wants to build a rig or start doing, streaming or whatever, and they want to get back into YouTube or do their own thing, entrepreneurs, do whatever they want to do. Yes, you're going to have that. You're going to have card shortages. So my thought is to you guys is this. If you want to buy a 40 series card, strike when the iron's hot. Now, if you got like a 2060 and you can afford a 4070 Ti or non-Ti, now you get 12 gigabytes of VRAM, you get a decent card. But if you got like a 3080, 3090, if you got 3090, I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's only pertaining to people who don't have a 3070 or 3080 3090s. Because me right now, I'm still good, even though my VRAM is garbage. I can still play the game I want to play. I just gotta lower down the settings to custom, and it automatically, you know, do everything it needs to do. And if I gotta lower it down some more, I will. But like I said, guys, I'm rocking the 3070 pretty good. But you know, to me, to buy a 4070, I have to buy a new power supply and convert how many cables over to match the power. Hopefully nothing. Hope it's just power supply be changed out. But if that's the case, I'll probably try to buy something for 3090 or 3080. But with both of those hard to find right now, one's really expensive and the other one is hard to find because it's, you know, of lack of quantity in there, a lack of quantity in the world right now. It kind of pushes it down for me. Well, guys, this is my video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Like, subscribe, notification, ring that bell. I'm gonna go get my gym on, work out tonight. See you guys later. Peace out.